Greetings! I've decided to record this video today for J and C, you know who you are, but for everybody to share in it too. These are a few key points and ideas whenever I teach from Suzuki Book 1 in some of the first pieces. So right after Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, variations in the theme, there is French folk song. And the first thing I start with, before we even get to the song, is we practice the bow. It is 9 quarter notes and 1 dotted half note. That bow speed change from the quarter note to the dotted half is important to watch for, and I also point out that it is always an up bow. With the younger students especially, I try to put some words to it, or we can make a sentence out of it, but you need three-syllable words, and then something to say that makes sense for the long up note bow. So I usually use things like strawberry, blueberry, blackberry. Strawberry, blueberry, blackberry, pie is good. There are two other points that I look at in French folk song, and that's anytime we're crossing over a string and we get a chance to anticipate our fingers on the lower string, as in the beginning. Right there, we can anticipate and build our tunnel on the lower string. And then as we go up in the middle section, keep our fingers down and then move over when we need it. Anticipate again. So whether we're anticipating a tunnel coming up or we're keeping a tunnel longer so that we have a nice balance to our playing. One of the common pitfalls in playing through French folk song is mixing up a couple of measures. That last part there is sometimes mixed up with the second to last measure of the piece. Sometimes that ya-da-da-da, that part is accidentally played in the beginning where it doesn't belong. So make sure those parts too are clear and you'll be good. Lightly row. Before starting lightly row, I also teach some of the bow patterns that are coming up. First bow pattern is half note, quarter, quarter, half note, quarter, quarter. And that's also the spacing that I would use. Half bow, full bow, half bow, full bow. And to get really specific with kids that are ready for it is lower half, whole bow, upper half, whole bow. Any string. And then I teach it with the string crossing involved. In the original, it's A, D, half note, D, 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 half note, D. Working to get a big tone and really making that string ring. And then I add the left hand to it and we build our tunnel on third finger F sharp. What I encourage kids to do is to have the finger down first. Instead of playing like this and bringing their finger down right when the bow does, that the third finger anticipates being ready for the bow coming to the D string. For really advanced students, I talk about how this is balanced. This sinking of the left hand weight into the string and the right hand weight too, and how these two interact between each other. It's like these 2 points of pressure bring the cello to the cellist, and we meet in the middle. So, reminder about good posture and setting up with your instrument right now too. Something odd happens at the end of measure 4. We're left at the tip. So we start the melody again, and this time the rhythm has changed to all quarter notes. So we're at the upper half of the bow for that whole section. 8 quarter notes in a row. And then we get one of our first magical shapes in music, the arpeggio. And we get back to the frog here with that last half note. One little thing about that moment, you may feel a little uncomfortable and would prefer perhaps to end on D instead of F sharp. You're hearing that you're ending on third of the chord that makes the home chord. For some people that's unsettling, so it's okay to play open D if you prefer there. But if you have an accompanist, let them take that job. The next part, a middle part, contrasts. Now we're at the tip for the next section. Notice the tunnel. And there you are. Try not to get the G string at the end like I just did. Throughout the work, we're always emphasizing the tunnel in the left hand. Right here, keep the fingers on the D string. Keep the fingers on the D string, especially there. The tendency will be for the fingers to leave the string, but we're training it to be down. Get to the upper half here. Delay release. Keep the finger on the D string. Addendum note about lightly row. It is written in cut time, so it should always feel quick enough so that the pulse is on the half note. If it's slower, it starts to take on a different feel, and it should be sprightly and move quick. All right, here it is all the way through. Next we have Song of the Wind. First thing I teach about Song of the Wind is getting our fingers comfortable jumping across the strings, down the strings, anywhere on the cello we can. Maybe not so much in here, not much to help there. But anywhere on the cello we can find all 4 fingers aligned on the same string. And let our arm fall with gravity and then rise away from it. We're avoiding running into this plane, so we are always above the cello. Some of my colleagues like to call out bow storage as a good practice. If you are careful, you should be able to do this little trick and bring your arm up and down the cello. We don't want to get up around the cello by running into it and crawling over it. We want to fly, soar over our cello. So I do activities like ski jumps that come from Margaret Rowell and many of my other teachers. They get a lot of good shoulder muscles going. And then just back here. All right, come back to first position on the A string. We're going to put all 4 fingers down and then jump between the 2 strings. Lifting just a little bit and jumping. Not jumping big, jumping real small jumps. Close as we can stay to the string. Feeling the weight of the fingers sink in and not a squeeze. We want this to just be touching. These are North Pole, South Pole. Back of the neck, top of the neck. All right, leave the first finger on the A string like an anchor, and let's move 2, 3, 4 to the D string and back. D string, and back. Just a little motion of the elbow to bring the fingers over. Is it just the fingers? Or can we move it with the whole arm? This is for measure 3. That's just how we'll play that measure. First finger's an anchor. 1, 4, 4, 1, 0. Where's the finger? 1, 4, 4, 1, 0. That fourth finger on both strings are ringing notes, and so you'll hear it especially loud and especially resonant when your finger is right on the note. And I would just practice this. And it's up bow to down bow. Enjoying how you can send that ringing sound out of your instrument. It's one of the great joys playing these early pieces, no matter what age you're at. Better. And for Song of the Wind, there are those 3 circles. 2 big ones and 1 teeny one. And I like to draw attention to them, describe them with familiar objects from the student's life. Food's a good example. Sports equipment, golf ball versus basketball, small pizza versus big pizza, little candies, Rolos. Personal size pizzas versus big pizzas for the whole family. Rolos versus Oreos versus grandma's big chocolate chip cookies. Anyhow, try not to make someone too hungry when you're trying to get through this piece. So we get to our scale. And we're going to delay. And then pop over. First big circle. Second big circle. Circle. Now there's a bow circle at the end, but you won't have to do that the last time when you play through the second time of the piece. There's one other thing to note. Sometimes it is somewhat difficult in a middle section to decide where to change. And that's because we change on the weak beat of the measure. So strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. For some students, thinking about strong and weak beats can be helpful, emphasizing that the change of finger happens on an up bow direction. Up, 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 and that can be helpful. Down prepares the finger for the next note. Some students are a little more comfortable counting how many notes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4, 4, and then 3 notes at each pitch. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Listening to it a lot will help a bunch. Go Tell Aunt Rhody is the next piece. Watch the bowing and see if you notice where all of the eighth notes are placed. Are they lower half or upper half? The next thing I do, if I get the right answer or if I don't get the right answer, I'll go to the open string. And if I still don't get the right answer, I'll go to a single open string. And I'll have the student do this too, bit by bit. before we're going to add the left hand to it. And of course we can practice the left hand pizzicato. And I make sure to practice a robust tunnel so that that can play together. And of course, I encourage improvisation. Now, when you're ready to put it all together, what have we noticed? All of the eighth notes are at the upper half. I also emphasize with the bow this moment. It's a very quick tunnel you have to produce. Then there's a contrasting section. Delay, release. Echo. Two additional things. It seems like Aunt Rhody put all of the eighth notes at the tip for this whole piece, and that's good, so we can work on our tip wiggles. And the ending of Go Tell Aunt Rhody is also the ending of another piece coming up in Book 1. I hope you enjoyed this video about early Suzuki Book 1 cello method pieces, and we'll see you next time.